Hello everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Isaac.
And you're listening to Let's Talk Avatar.
This podcast is a watch-through of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We will be discussing each episode in detail and giving our opinions on it.
So stick around and be a part of the conversation.
Just as a warning, this episode does feature spoilers from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a teen-rated podcast, so listener discretion is advised. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Avatar. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Isaac.
And today, sadly, is our final episode in Avatar: The Last Airbender. We will be starting on to Legend of Korra after this. We're going to take a little break. We'll go into more detail later. But yes, this is our last episode. We'll be discussing episodes 17 through 21 of Season 3. And you guys, we have a couple disclaimers before we start because this was just very overwhelming for us. Just a warning, if you have not seen any of this, like any of Avatar, and you've just kind of been listening along, do not listen to this episode if you plan on watching Avatar because this has major spoilers. This is the end of the entire series, and I don't want to ruin anything for you guys because we're definitely going to talk about a lot of different spoilers.
Yeah. Our other disclaimer is basically these episodes, there's so much that goes on, so we're not really going to be explaining much unless we absolutely have to. We're just going to be talking about our thoughts and the different themes within these episodes and how we feel.
Yeah. Also, today is Friday, which means we get to pick our giveaway winner. The winner will be announced on our Instagram and our Twitter. So if you're interested in knowing who won, feel free to check out our Instagram at Let's Talk Avatar and our Twitter at Let's Avatar. Right? Let's
Yes.
Avatar? Okay. Again, Let's Talk Avatar was taken. That's why we don't have it. Let's just hop into it because I have so much to say.
Ember Island players. I thought it was amazing. I loved it.
Yes, hilarious. It's a very, very good episode to watch before we get into like the deep, dark, intense moments of the end. I guess this like finale. You have this like kind of like comedic relief episode where you're like, yeah, this is very lighthearted and fun, and then you're gonna get into some like intense episodes.
And they just made a lot of jokes, like fourth wall breaking jokes, and I loved it. Like there was even there was a part in the play where Jet gets covered with like a rock, and in the stand is like Team Avatar, and Zuko's like, did he just die? And Sokka's like, it wasn't really clear to us.
Which is we've talked about this too. We're like, wait, did Jet ever die? And none of us knew. So it was just funny that they came back to that. Yeah, which I think it's solidifying the fact that he does die.
There's just a bunch of one-liners in there and different jokes that the writers purposely put in at the end of the whole series to kind of like laugh about it, which I thought was really cool. The fact that they were able to do that. But yeah, that's kind of all I had for it. But I will say the casting for the Ember Island players, Aang as a woman,
it's hilarious,
and Toph as a muscular, huge man. It's
all around funny and entertaining, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. Like I said, it was such a good episode to watch before getting into a little more intense, deep episodes.
And they're on Ember Island, like that.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how amazing Ember Island really is? I would love to live on Ember Island. I just find it super fascinating.
It is like, to me, the definition of island vacation getaway. Like, it's just perfect.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to dive into... Okay, you guys, I cried a lot. Ask Isaac. I cried a lot.
She did.
We have a lot to say about this, and Isaac and I even tried to sit down separately and write down our thoughts, and we just couldn't because there's just too much. And writing them down, we couldn't even focus long enough to write down how we felt because it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you have to realize too, I mean, we've watched Avatar many times, but we haven't watched the finale in a few years. So it felt like we were going into it as if we'd never watched it before. Exactly. In some ways, which made it even better because it was like, oh, I don't even remember this. This
like
is
what's
amazing.
Gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly. Like we knew what was gonna happen, but we don't remember the details, which made it entertaining for us. I don't know, where do you want to start off?
I guess let's just start with part 1. Basically, Aang is having to train, and this is basically Aang figuring out whether or not he wants to kill the Fire Lord. And this is really when his morality gets twisted into this whole ending. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. You get this because I'm trying to like still gather my thoughts.
I don't know. So what I would say is, obviously, Aang being an air nomad, they're very peaceful, vegetarian, no harm, no violence kind of people. So the idea of him killing the Fire Lord is not okay with him. With everyone else in the group, it's like a no-brainer. Like, you have to kill him. If you want peace in the world, you have to kill him. And Aang is struggling with that. And like I said, I'm not going to go into detail in the episodes. I'm just going to, I feel like I'm just going to jump around because there's something I want to say about, he ends up running away like he always does. This time it wasn't meaningful, though. I mean, was it purposeful? It kind of like he just kind of, his spirit, I guess, took over and led the way.
I would say it's like a prophecy. It's like he's not doing this himself. It's like fate is taking him there.
Yeah, exactly. And he ends up on this island by himself. Well, Momo's with him, but he realizes like, oh, maybe I was led here because it's supposed to be like, maybe this is a spirit world kind of thing. So he sits down and he reaches, he goes to his like meditation pose, and he calls, I guess, like, what was it, like summons Roku kind of thing?
Yeah, like past avatars.
Yeah. And so he talks to Roku, and he's pretty much asking, like, what do I do? And Roku's telling him, like, like, we can all tell you stuff, but we can't make that decision for you. But he pretty much tells him, like, I'd kill him. Yeah. Then he calls on Kyoshi.
And she's like, kill that bitch.
Yeah, and Kyoshi's basically like, you have to do what's right for the world kind of thing, And then he calls on Kurik, is that his name? Who's the water...
Kurik?
Yeah, he's the water bender that was before Aang, obviously the one before Korra. And he says the same thing. So all of these past avatars are telling him he's going to have to kill the Fire Lord, which is not what he wants to hear. Then he decides to call on one of the last, air nomads, which was Aang Chen. And what she says, I had so many goosebumps throughout this entire, it was a 4-part episode. Throughout all these episodes, I had so many goosebumps, but this moment really hit me because she pretty much says, like, like, the air nomads in your time raised you right. But the thing is they can enter a spiritual awakening and get to this point where they're at, which is where you're trying to get, but they're not the avatar.
She was talking about spiritual detachment. And being able to detach yourself and your beliefs to save everyone.
Yeah, she told him, you can never detach yourself from this world because this world is the reason you're here. You're here to save this world. So you can't detach yourself from the world like the monks have taught you to do. And I think, to me, that made total sense. And again, she's saying, too, like, you need to do what you have, like, you have to do what you need to do in order to save the world, even if that means killing him, pretty much. Again, it's not what he wants to hear, but he's like, okay, I've had my answer. I'm gonna have to kill him,
I just loved how each avatar had something new to say about the matter, even though they all felt kind of the same way. And I loved how Kyoshi was like so justice, like 100% justice, and then Roku was like, I can't make that for you, but yes, kill him. Mm-hmm. And then same with Kurik, and then Yang Chen is like trying to reason with him. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was cool that he had multiple different ideologies and experiences.
It's really cool that he can call on his past avatars or past like lives to help him in situations. But this is a situation too that they can only give advice on. They can't tell him what to do because they're not him, and every avatar is going to do something different,
and they're not living in this current day.
Yeah, exactly. But it was definitely one of those moments where I was just like, dang, you can tell, like, Aang is fighting himself here. He's literally going against everything he has ever known, and it's killing him. It is literally killing him. He's having such a struggle. But beyond that, we'll come back to it because there's some more stuff to that. But
so in the real world, they're like, where is Aang?
Yeah, they're all like, where's Aang? And then Sokka nails it straight on the head, and he's like, he's probably off on some kind of spiritual journey. And they're like, whatever. And it's like, no, Sokka's right.
That's exactly right. I loved how they utilized characters from previous seasons and episodes. Like, I love how Avatar's just able to use up all of their characters you know? And I think a lot of that has to do with, like, voice actors and loving the show and different things like that. Like, but they go to June because Zuko's like, well, if I know someone who can find anyone, it's June. Because she has that, like, mole thing that can literally smell anyone in the world, pretty much. So they find her, and they give her pet Aang's staff that has his scent on it, and he starts to smell it, and the mole can't smell anything. And then June's like, your friend's gone. And Sokka's like dead gone? And she's like, no, because
if he was dead, we'd still be able to find him.
Yeah, and he's just gone. Like,
he doesn't. She says he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Which tells you right there, he's obviously in the spirit world, because if he wasn't, they'd be able to find him.
It's weird though, because your body still stays in the present day, in the real world, when you go to the spirit world. So maybe this had to have been some huge moment, like awakening moment.
Yeah. Well, so then they can't find Aang, so they're like, well, let's find Iroh. At least Zuko is, because they're like, if there's anyone I know that could take down the Fire Lord, it's Iroh. So he gets his smelly shoe that he just happens to hold on to, and they end up finding him. This moment for me, I probably bawled more in this moment than I did throughout the entire series, because we've been so waiting for this reunite, like, for them to reunite for such a long time, but this time Zuko is where Iroh's always wanted him to be. And there's a moment where Iroh's sleeping, Zuko goes into his tent, but then Iroh wakes up, and it's just Zuko crying, pretty much telling him, like, I'm so sorry, I know you're probably disappointed in me. And Iroh just grabs him, and they hug, and they're crying, and I'm crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I've been waiting for this moment. And Zuko's pretty much his son, you know? Like, Iroh has raised Zuko and helped him become the man he is. And then Iroh's basically saying, like, I never hated you. I was just disappointed and sad, you know? Yeah. But he's like, I never hated you. I was never angry. I just was sad that you might not find your way. But what's so cool about Iroh's character is that he gave him the space to find his way. He never forced him into anything. He explained things to him and tried to help him, but he never forced him into one way or the other, which I think helps in the long run in him figuring out who he is. These last 4 episodes solidify how good Avatar is and how good the character progression and characters in general are. I feel like I got goosebumps just staring at Team Avatar. I mean, Aang wasn't there, but him too. Team Avatar talking with the White Lotus and coming up with different plans to finish the job, you know? Yeah. And it's just like, wow, these kids are no longer kids. Like, they're growing, you know? I definitely feel like we could have watched each episode and did a 30-minute podcast on each episode, because there's so much to it. So this will probably run longer, just to warn you guys, now that we're 12, 13 minutes into the episode. We're going to jump around here. We're not going to stay in any kind of chronological order here. Before Zuko finds Iroh, the White Lotus find them. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. And you realize there's the Bending Masters of previous episodes are part of the White Lotus. Boomy, Sokka's master, Katara's Haku, master. Like, who else? Zhang. All of these masterful teachers are just there, and they're like, yeah, we've been a part of this organization forever. Iroh started it, and all these things. It's just like crazy. Can we also talk about for a second our appreciation for Suki throughout these 4 episodes? Because there are plenty of moments where Toph and Sokka they'd be dead. They would be dead without Suki. And I love her character so much. I think she's a great character, and I was so glad to see her in these last 4 episodes participating, which Isaac and I mentioned this multiple times. So pretty much once they go, they see the White Lotus, they talk to Iroh, and then they leave, and it's Katara and Zuko going after Azula, because it is now, it's now out there that Zuko needs to be the Fire Lord. So he's like, okay, I need to go take it from my sister, who has now been deemed the Fire Lord. And this whole time, they don't know if Aang's coming back. Yeah. So they're literally putting their life on the line. They're like, well, we're gonna finish the Avatar's job, and if he doesn't come back, he doesn't. If he does, he does. Yeah, they're like, we're still gonna fight. We're gonna be here for him no matter what, even if he's not here for himself, kind of thing. But Katara and Zuko are going to fight Azula, and then Toph, Suki, and Sokka are going to take out the fleet of the ships that are going to burn all of the Earth Kingdom.
Which,
can we just talk about the fact that they're going to burn the entire Earth Kingdom?
So before this day actually comes, there's a moment where Azula walks up to the Fire Lord, her dad, and she's like, okay, let's get a move on. And he's like, oh, there's been a change of plans. I'm going, you're staying here. And she gets sad. She's like sad that she doesn't get to participate in genocide.
Mm-hmm. She's like, it was my idea.
Yeah, like it's something to be angry. Like, she has a right to be angry over that.
From that point on, she goes psycho. This is where you start to see her break down and really see the raw inner parts of who she is.
I might just go psycho.
Can we jump around for a second?
Let's jump around.
Okay, jump around.
Jump around. Jump around. Jump up and get down.
I'm going to just hop to the end here and talk about Aang and the Fire Lord. I'm going to just go for it.
Okay. Cool.
So many times, spoiler alert, I'm just going to say it because I want to talk about it. Aang does not end up killing Ozai, the Fire Lord, because he can't. So in this moment, it's kind of, I've always viewed it, and I still kind of view it, I don't want to necessarily say like a full-on cop-out, but it's just kind of like, really? Like, you're not gonna kill him? You've called on all these past avatars. Even Yang Chen said it perfectly. Like, you have to take care of what you have to, because your duty is to this world. So if that means killing someone to protect the world, you do it. And they make you think that he's gonna kill him, and he doesn't. And he gets the ability, the island that he's on during this, like, spiritual retreat is an lion turtle. And if you don't know what a lion turtle is, then you probably shouldn't be listening to this episode.
Yeah.
A lion turtle gave Aang the ability to spirit bend, which is pretty much the ability to take people's bending away.
Or give back.
Take away or give back. So when he goes to kill Ozai, he
stops himself.
He stops. He's in the avatar state. He's going to kill him, and then he stops. And he ends up spirit bending to take away his bending instead. And this is one of the most, I never noticed this before, and this really hit me hard, because and this is the thing that I'm not upset that Aang couldn't kill him. Like, that's not what makes me upset. It's just like, I don't know. It's the fact that it's just like he gets off easy. You know, I understand Aang not being able to kill him, but it's the fact that the Fire Lord's just like, okay, nothing. He's done all of this, was literally had the anticipation, not even the anticipation, was going to kill off the entire Earth Kingdom, you know? But in this moment, the lion turtle also told Aang that if you are going to spirit bend, your spirit has to be unbendable, because if it's not, you will be taken over by whatever you're trying to get rid of. And you see that happen because when he goes to take his spirit away, it's like his avatar state activates, and then the Fire Lord's like bending activates.
Yeah, it's like this really cool color palette of Aang's blue spirit and then Ozai's orange spirit.
Yeah, and you see the orange spirit of Ozai taking over Aang till it's pretty much just his eye, and then it bursts out, and then Aang takes over. And that right there, I feel like is such a deep moment, because he stayed true to who he was in not killing him. His spirit was unbendable, and that's why he was able to take his spirit away. I mean, take his bending away. Which to me gives me goosebumps. It's so crazy, because I don't know why I never noticed this before. I never really paid attention to it. It's just so, it's an intense moment, and believe me, I really wish Aang would have killed him. I really wish the Fire Lord would have died.
Oh, yeah, everyone does.
But I feel like I have more acceptance of Aang not killing him now than I did before, because I felt like before I was really upset about it, and I still, like I said, wish he'd be dead, but I kind of understand it a little bit more.
I just feel like every avatar is faced with something, like major, huge threat to the world. If they don't stop it, it's going to destroy the world and humanity as we know it. And I just feel like every avatar in that moment has to find a new way to do something. Mm-hmm. And obviously all of those past avatars were telling him to kill Ozai. And Aang literally couldn't do it in his head. He was like, that's not me, that's not, you know? Mm-hmm. So I just feel like that was him finding his own way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That was his own doing, obviously, not the previous avatars.
You know, but can I just say how convenient it is that a lion turtle just happens to be the island he goes to? I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, because it's like, I think it's a good introduction to a lion turtle. That island that he's on is the lion turtle. But it's still just like, oh, a lion turtle has nowhere to be seen before, and then pops up, and it's like, oh, I'm going to give you spirit bending so you don't have to kill the Fire Lord, and you can just take away his bending. I don't know. It makes, again, like I said, that moment where he ends up taking his spirit bending away because he stayed true to who he was, and it was like, his spirit was unbendable, was such a cool moment for me, so I understand it, but it's just...
I loved it either way.
The animation, the entire scene, all of it, I adored. I loved it. It is a masterpiece.
Okay, we have to talk about the battle between Azula, Zuko, and Katara.
That's where I was going to go next, but I just wanted to get the big one out of the way before sorry for like the word vomit too. I'm just like, I just had to get it out because I've been thinking it. It's been stuck in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to it.
I loved the fact that the lion turtle was spiritual, not real world, and that it was also the place that Aang was able to contact his previous selves. Like, I just felt like that meant a lot, to where I don't know, I guess you could call it a cop-out. I'm just watching it as it is. Like, it's a cartoon. It's the story they wanted, so I don't know. I'm happy with it.
I mean, yeah. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed because, I mean, the story goes on. Now, if the Fire Lord, like, came out and, like, ended up killing people again and somehow escaped, I would be pissed. I'd be like, hey, why didn't you just freaking kill him? But, I mean, we all know that doesn't happen.
But going back to one person we do wish died more than Ozai, in my opinion, Azula.
Yeah. She was not afraid to kill anyone. She had no feelings. I feel like she would have killed her own father.
Yeah, she was pissed that she didn't get to experience genocide with him. Or doing the genocide, not getting killed. But, can we talk about how good they did her downfall, her mental downfall?
Oh, yeah. Her voice actress, props to her because she does a phenomenal job.
But also the animation, her little movements, it's like, it's so well done.
It's so well done, it's creepy, and you see her break, with
multiple
every
times.
Scene, it's like more and more
every
and more.
Interaction with her, yeah, it's just a spiral.
Although, okay, there's a funny moment where she's about to be... pronounced the Fire Lord, and Zuko and Katara show up, and he's like, you're not going to be the Fire Lord because I am. And she's like, let's do an Agni Kai for it then. And Katara's like, wait, Zuko, I thought you said you couldn't do this alone. And he's like, there's just something off about her. And I'm like, is it maybe the fact that she cut her hair and she's pretty psycho, even more than usual?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because he's like, there's something off about her. And you can physically tell there is something off about her.
Oh, and then her mom in the mirror.
That's sad.
Would you say that was a spiritual thing, or would you say it was in Azula's head?
I don't think it was in Azula's head. I thought about that too, because if it was in Azula's head, she would do everything she could to justify her mom leaving. And her mom was telling her, I'm not angry. I don't fear you. I love you. Why would she tell herself that? Because she doesn't want to accept that. She wants to suppress those feelings.
Exactly.
Why would she think of her mom saying, I love you?
But this was the moment that made her truly mad, is when she threw that brush. I think it was her playing out this scenario in her head because she knows that her mom loved her. She's a smart girl.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Azula is a smart girl, and she knows things. So, like you were saying, she's trying to suppress that. So, she's obviously trying to suppress it more if she just completely thrashes the mirror. I think it was her last mental...
bit of sanity trying to get to her.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
And it was just that breaking point.
The fight between her and Zuko, though, phenomenal. Like, the scenes that we see of her blue fire and his regular fire.
And the music, it's like an orchestra. Like, watching this orchestra happen, and then they even zoom out of the city, and you can just see the huge flames connecting, and it's like...
Well, and keep in mind, all firebenders are so much more powerful because the comet is
like
going
10
through
times, 100 times, whatever.
It's ridiculous. It's amazing. There is a moment, though, because...
It's amazing. I love them destroying the fire.
I just love that they just, tried to kill each other, and they're just ruining everything around them with fire. Azula, I'm raising my hand up because I'm pretending the lightning bend. Starts lightning bend, and she goes to hit Katara because she knows that's going to do more damage to Zuko than it is doing more damage to Zuko that way than it would actually physically hurting him. And he goes and jumps in front of Katara and redirects it, but he gets hurt in the meantime. So it's pretty much Katara and Azula left to fight. Katara pulls one of the best water-bending moves I've ever seen.
What a freaking boss. Like,
she, like, encases them in water and freezes them to where they're...
Well, first of all, she's, like, stopping these lightning bolts.
Yeah.
And also, like, skating around Azula to get away.
Yeah. But she ends up encasing them, like, freezing them in water, but then stopping...
She, like, breathes a little bubble
around herself so she can move, and within that bubble, she takes these chains and chains Azula down into, like, a little, like, sewer kind of thing, it looks like.
This is where I want to talk about the storyboarding and animation on this. Like, the whole team, whoever came up with these storyboards, or just these ideas that, yes, we want that, we want Katara to do this move and get this chain, like... How creatively, like, genius is that? Mm-hmm. Like, who would have come up with that? That is so amazing, and it made sense.
Yeah, because it wasn't a move that was, like, we're all like, okay, like, Katara would not do that right now. But it's something that's basic, but still so smart, and that's the difference. Is Azula's smart, but at this point, she's having a mental breakdown, you know? And so Katara is having to think, outsmart her pretty much. She's like, Azula's stronger than me, but I can outsmart her. And that's what she does, and it's just amazing. Then she goes over and she heals Zuko. And that entire scene is just like, it's just amazing. The last few episodes are just, they're phenomenal. I love them. I cried just knowing that we're done with it. I mean, I cried, but I can go rewatch it again, but it's just amazing to watch these episodes.
Oh, we haven't talked about the blimps.
Oh, that's right. I was talking about that.
More than any other scene, I felt suspense. Like, I didn't know they were going to make it out alive. Like, yes, I know they survived, but in my head, I was like, they're not going to make it.
And we've said this multiple times. They did the most damage to the... they took out fleets.
Okay, so
I mean, like, you have Aang taking care of the Fire Lord, and then Katara and Zuko taking care of Azula, but then you have the rest of the Team Avatar taking out fleets of people.
Props to Sokka again. Like... They take over a whole ship. They get all of the men off there.
Which was the ship the Fire Lord was on? Can we talk about that? They got on the ship the Fire Lord was on, didn't they?
Mm-mm. He was on a way bigger one.
That's right. That one fell off. That one got taken down. Never mind.
Yeah, Aang got that one. But this was before Aang was there. And they got on a ship, took it over, and then they were like, well, we're going to have to take out these other blimps. You know, even if Aang isn't here. And they literally are like... coming to the realization that they're most likely not going to survive.
Sokka kisses Suki and says, we'll get to that point, because she asked a question, and he's like, we'll get to that if we survive. Like, they're willing
already accepted
to risk
death.
Their lives.
They have already accepted death, so they are just trying to finish the job. That is scary, but also, like, amazing friends that Aang has. Mm-hmm. Like, in that moment, I was like, wow, they're willing to give it their all. Like, literally till their death. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy watching these kids and teenagers go through that.
Yeah. And Sokka, for his character, I mean, we talk about Zuko's character development so often, but Sokka's character development from that, like, first season Sokka to now, he has matured and grown up so much, and he's so smart.
But he still maintained that goofiness,
that sure.
personality about him.
They did an amazing job with adding that comedic relief to his character without going overboard, you know? Because he's funny and goofy, but he's still serious when he needs to be, and he's smart, and I feel like he's level-headed for the most part, you know?
He's very inventive. Like, his idea to come up with a crash this into all of them at the right angle it's so quickly too, was like, wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang. This is gonna be a long episode.
There's just so much, and I'm so happy to have watched it and definitely, like, documented our reactions on it, because I can go back later and listen to us, even though I hate listening to my own voice. We can go back and listen to how we felt in those moments. And it's just so cool. It's such an awesome show. It's such a cool experience.
This solidified why I love Avatar and why The Last Airbender is and will always be my favorite cartoon.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good.
Okay.
I just wish that we had more cartoons, because they created comics, which is good. I love the comics, but I want more animation of the OG Team Avatar. Me and Isaac talked about it too. How cool would it be to have some kind of storyline about the Order of the White Lotus?
Yeah, even the White Lotus, like, they are so OP, and they're so
People always
interesting.
say Kyoshi, which, don't get me wrong, I want a Kyoshi timeline, you know, but the Order of the White Lotus, I would freak out for.
I would even want a Korik timeline, whatever his name is.
Just give me anything.
Anything.
At this point, I'm like, okay, you did Korra, but can we do some more? It's been a while. Kind of craving. I mean, they're doing the Netflix live action one, which I'm really hoping lives up to the expectations I have for it.
I'm so hoping, because if it doesn't, it's going to be another movie situation.
I don't think they'd do that again. I think they'd learn from the fans. At least I'd hope, because the fandom is so loyal to Avatar.
And also, it's grown with just in the past, 5 years.
Yeah.
So.
Just in the past month with Avatar being on
True.
Netflix, or the past few days even, just with everything going on, I think it's one of those shows that I feel like you didn't really take too seriously if you were a kid and watched it. You just watch it and you're like, this is cool. Because I feel like that was me. And then when I was 17, we went on a vacation, I remember, and the rest of the family went to a car show, and I stayed home and I watched a marathon of Avatar that was on Nickelodeon. And that was the moment that I realized how amazing of a show it really was. Because I enjoyed it as a kid, but this just solidified how amazing it was.
Can we talk about the ending? Like, where everyone ends up and what journeys they're going on?
Yeah, for sure.
So, how did you feel about where everyone was at the end?
I felt really good because Iroh has his tea shop. And what I thought was so cool is that, so Zuko is the Fire Lord now, and he's pretty much, reunited the Avatar and the Fire Nation back together. Actually, all the nations are reunited. You see them at his, coronation. But when you go to Iroh's tea shop, you see Zuko just himself serving everyone. And that to me was such a humble moment because he's the Fire Lord, and he didn't unlike his past, ancestors, he didn't let it get to his head, and he's taking the time to serve the people he loves, who are from all different
walks of life, and nations. Exactly.
And so it's just really cool. And him and May are together, and Aang and Katara kiss, and they're together.
And Ty Lee's a Kyoshi warrior now,
which makes total sense.
And that means the Kyoshi warriors are going to know how to chi block.
Oh.
They can properly defend against, say, another Azula.
They're gonna be so OP.
Yeah.
Suki's already OP without any bending. Can you imagine if she learns how to chi block?
She'd be unstoppable.
And Sokka are together, which by far probably my favorite couple in the entire Avatar universe. Not even kidding. I love Katara and Aang, but they're of course it's gonna happen.
I'm more of I think it's a Zoff.
Or Toph and Sokka? No, I've talked to Jackie about this. I could see Toph and Sokka having a moment where they dated.
I'm more of I'm more of a Toph and Zuko.
Oh, yeah, don't feel that. I don't ship Zuko with anyone else but May. Done.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, he's such a good character.
Yeah, and May is such a good, I guess, balance for him.
Yeah, because they're kind of similar. But she calms him.
Yeah, they're similar, but yet still different in some ways, We need to do, a whole ship episode.
Yeah. Okay, so we haven't done this in a while. I didn't realize that till,
our favorite
way
and
later.
Least favorite characters.
Yeah. Who is your favorite?
This is so hard.
It's all of them, right?
It's literally, there's something
about all of them.
There's something about every single character at this point that I absolutely love. It's really hard. I can say something about each character. My least favorite character? Easy, Ozai. Only because, can we just talk about, we talked about this before about how, I guess, bad of a villain he was. It really wasn't that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But
believable?
Yeah, because to me, the Ozai has always been the big bad villain. But then you have, Azula and Zuko during times that they're fighting. So I felt like we didn't get enough of the bad guy view of Ozai to really hate him that much. So when we see him, I'm just more annoyed with him than anything. I
think what they were trying to get at is he's so evil, you don't get to see him till literally the last 4 episodes.
It's just so stupid though,
but this is where I think they went wrong. Is he doesn't have enough personality. His only trait is I'm evil.
Exactly.
Whereas if he had as much personality as, let's say, Azula or Zuko, it would be even more wow. No wonder we had to wait this long.
That's why I would have rather saw Azula dead than Ozai, because Azula has proved to us time and time again how evil she is and how she's going to
manipulative and
act on those thoughts. She wants to kill someone, she's going to do it whether it's family or not. Because at the end of the day, her only motivation is power.
That is scary. Something I have failed to mention until now, I loved how suspenseful it was when it's like showing, I think it was part 2, the beginning of part 2 or part 3 of, I think it's part 3. The whole color change, the color palette's very dark and red and orange, and then you have the Fire Lord and it zooms in on the fleet, and it's just like, it puts you in that mood of like, this is dark, like something's about to go down.
Can we talk about also how amazing it was when Aang gets hit, you know, where Azula hit him in the back,
yeah.
and you see all the past avatars show up and light up?
Would you call that a cop-out for him to go into the Avatar state again?
So, I don't know, I don't understand why he didn't go into the Avatar state in any other moments, because the thing is Azula killed him, so technically no avatars at that point. It didn't take his Avatar state away, it just took the ability of the Avatar existing after him away, because he would have been dead. But then Katara healed him, but I think there's also something with like the chakras that I think affected it too.
Well, and when the lion turtle touched him, it was very specific on like the
was
chest
his forehead
region and the
his
forehead.
Chest. Yeah, so I'm sure. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I love watching the Avatar, whether it's Korra or Aang or Koshi or anyone go into the Avatar state, because I just think it's boss. So I enjoyed it. And it was just boss because he like encased himself in a bubble pretty much with all 4 elements, and it was just like
the ball?
Yeah, it's ball. He encases himself in like rocks, and me and Isaac
right before the Avatar state, and
yeah,
it's just like,
we made this joke that like he just runs away from the like Fire Lord.
He
just
stays
rolls
in there
around.
forever.
He's just constantly rolling around.
My favorite character by far, I've said this multiple episodes, Iroh. There's nothing wrong with him.
If anyone ever tells me that they hate Iroh or it's their least favorite character,
I will never trust that person.
Yeah, don't trust the person that hates Iroh. That's all I gotta say.
My least favorite would probably have to be Azula or Rosa, yeah.
Azula, I feel like
every character at this point has proved themselves so much and has grown so much. There's not really one thing I feel like to really hate about them or dislike. So it's like the only characters, at least for me, I can dislike are the truly evil one. Yeah. Which is Azula and Ozai.
Very true, but even Azula has so much personality to her that I felt for her. I'm not gonna lie, when she threw that hairbrush, I felt for her because she's in pain. Obviously, the reason she is the way she is because there's something deeper going on inside. But again, I'm just like, man,
well, and her mom,
kill her
mom in the mirror, and I just getting flashbacks of her as a child. Yeah, and it's like, wow, Azula has dealt with whatever she's dealt with for so long. Like she could change in this moment, and then it's just completely gone at that point.
Wow, we just like talked nonstop.
We went all over the place.
We did.
Me and Rich were talking right before, and we were like, we should write down stuff so it's not so all over the place like our previous episodes. But like we said, we couldn't write down stuff. There's just so much.
Yeah, we couldn't collect our thoughts to talk because there was so much to touch on. I think we pretty much covered it though. Let us know if you've seen these episodes or are going to. Let us know your opinions on them because I'm really interested.
Boomy can literally move like mountains almost.
Boomy is like, I would love to see him and Toph train together.
Yeah.
Just give me an episode of that. Call it good.
Yeah.
Yeah. These episodes, I'm really sad to be done with Avatar The Last Airbender, but it's been amazing to go on this journey with them again. You know, as cringy as it sounds, I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
And so this means next we will be hopping into Korra, Legend of Korra, where we haven't really talked about how long of a break we're going to take, but I think we're going to take a little break. I already have stuff gathered for a Korra giveaway to do at the end of Legend of Korra. So if you didn't win this giveaway, don't worry because there is another one coming with Legend of Korra, which is shorter than Avatar The Last Airbender. Can we talk about that too? Like, Korra is like 10 episodes in each season, and you feel so jammed. Like,
yeah, the equivalent of Korra episodes to The Last Airbender, it only goes to the end of season 2 of The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
But it's also nice because you get more fast-paced stuff. But we will keep you guys updated on our social media sites, so if you don't follow us already, please do if you're interested, and we'll update you guys on there, post stuff that's going on and different things like that. I don't think I have much more to say. I've already pretty much spewed my opinion all over. That sounds so...
Thank you guys so much for listening and coming on this journey with us.
Yes, thank you for joining us on this journey. Again, like I said, it was cringy, but this has been a journey, and it has been so much fun. And Isaac and I really, genuinely have enjoyed this. Like, we look forward to watching Avatar every week. And even on the weeks where we felt so tired and, like, we're like, oh, I don't want to do this.
We have been refraining from watching these last 5 episodes until now.
The last few episodes of our podcast have been so hard not to
just keep watching.
Yeah, because we are at that point where it's like, oh, I just want to watch it. But now that I've watched it, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to watch it because I don't want it to end. But thank you guys so much for following us, downloading, listening to us ramble on about
just interacting
everything.
Or even stumbling upon it, even if you didn't want to.
It means more than you know to
Yeah.
us. As always, I guess this is the last time I'll say it. This is so depressing, as if it's this is the last time for Avatar The Last Airbender.
Yes.
When you hear us next, we will be talking about Legend of Korra. So prepare yourselves.
Also, giveaway.
Giveaway what?
Do we want to mention that again?
Oh, the giveaway is going to be announced today, Friday, but it will be posted on our social media. So
again, that is Let's Talk Avatar on Instagram, and on Twitter it is Let's Avatar.
Yes. So if you are the winner and you're listening, I will have contacted you by now. So
hopefully
I'm contacting you. Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much. I'm Rachel.
I'm Isaac.
And we will see you in Legend of Korra next time.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Let's Talk Avatar. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Rachel.
You can find us on our website at nonessentialmedia.com.
On Instagram under Nonessential Media.
On Twitter at nonessentialm.
And on Facebook by searching Nonessential Media. Join us next week for another episode of Let's Talk Avatar.
We love you, baby Hope.